Hi everyone, it's Bonita from Pennies to Dollars and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to talk about the steps that I took prior to quitting my job. I thought maybe if you are close to retirement or if you're needing a break or wanting to take a hiatus, a mini retirement, anything like that, that maybe some of these steps might be helpful. So I'm going to share them with you today. I didn't just jump into this helter skelter. I had a very detailed set of steps that I followed. So let's get started today. First of all, of course, I discussed it with my husband. Anything that I do affects him and vice versa. So I thought it was important to discuss it with him, discuss how I was feeling, why I wanted to quit, why I needed a break. And then I also discussed it with all of my adult children just to bounce it off of them because I trust their judgment. They give me good feedback, and they were all in support of me quitting. We decided that my health and my stress level was more important than my paycheck at this time. It has been very stressful trying to work. We haven't been getting breaks or lunches. We've been working overtime. They've increased our work level probably 30 to 40% since I started. And it has just continued to be more and more, being pushed more and more. And it has affected my pain level of some of the things that I have going on with my body, which I've shared some of that with you guys before. So we discussed that it was worth it for me to quit. I looked at my budget. I've been practicing living on it for a while. Many of you know that. I reviewed my savings. I looked at how long I could afford to be off work, or if I could afford to be off work indefinitely, if I could make the bills that I have, if I could be able to afford the things that I need to afford that are just basic needs and still be able to do some things that I wanted to do, like the video I shared with you where I'm going to be wintering the winter months in Texas. Along these lines, I felt it was very important to keep all of these plans quiet. I didn't share them with anyone but my husband and my kids. I have an old video about moving in silence that I will tag at the end, but moving in silence is really important. I do have friends and coworkers that I trust and that are friends, but I didn't share any of this even with them because I know the importance of moving in silence when you are planning something like this and how important it is that somebody not slip up, make a comment or something that will just totally derail your plans. So then I started making my checklist and I looked at any specialist appointments that I had coming up. I have currently been to 4 specialists and 2 pain management doctors. Basically, everyone told me the same thing, that normally they will treat the underlying condition, but in my case, they cannot do that. So all they could basically do is try to help manage my pain from here on out. And so I looked at seeing the last specialist, which was the 6th one, before my insurance ended, before I decided to put in my notice. And so I had that date set. And I also made an appointment to get my eyes checked and get my new glasses. I made an appointment to get my teeth cleaned. My husband made an appointment to get his teeth cleaned. And I had a crown put on my tooth that needed to be done. So I feel like I got most of that medical out of the way, off my checklist that needed to be addressed before I thought about quitting my job. I also looked at all of the refill dates of my medications. Most of them were set up on 90 days. I did have a couple of new ones that were on 30 days. I wrote down how many refills I had left. I looked at when the refills were due, and I got a hold of the medicine company and verified with them when my medicine would be auto refilled. And I planned for the date to be after all of the medicine would be refilled for that last 90 days to give me a head start. And then I chose a date based on my medicines, my doctor's appointments, my dentist appointments, my glasses being covered and paid for. I looked at a date that would fit into making sure that all of those things took place and would be covered before I set a date. And again, I kept it quiet and I moved in silence. I also checked into my 401ks that I had, made sure that I had logons, passwords, that I had updated the balances, that I knew what I had in there, because I knew that once I quit, at some point, I have so much time to either cash them out or roll them over into something else. So I got all of that information gathered. I took some vacation. I left about a week to be paid out after I quit. And I wrote my resignation letter and had it saved and ready to go. During this time, I continued to take pictures of my receipts and save as many points as I could for Receipt Pal, Receipt Hog, Receipt Jar, Fetch, Swag Bucks, the ones that I use. I just continued to build those up and not cash them out so that I would have an extra bonus of access to points and gift cards going into the holiday season. I then called HR to ensure that I understood the payout for my vacation, that I knew when I was going to get it, and that I didn't have to do anything to request it or ask my boss to request it. And they told me that it would be paid out on my last check automatically and that I didn't have to do anything. Then I submitted that resignation letter. So it's very important to have all of those ducks in a row so that you go into this feeling confident and you go into this being absolutely sure of your decision. Because I didn't tell you this piece, but in the midst of those last few steps, we got a notice that my job was going to increase our pay. And by January, I would be up another $3 an hour. I thought about that for a whole 15 seconds. That's how long it took me to say, no, I don't even care if they pay me $50 an hour at this point. I'm not doing it. And I texted my husband and I said, they just offered a raise. They're raising all of us in our department, probably because of the type of hours and how short we are. But it's still not valuable enough to me to stay. And he said, no, absolutely not. Don't even let that tempt you. It doesn't matter. So it felt good to know that they offered that, know that I still was sure about my decision, and to be honest with my husband and share that with him, and for him to still support me in the decision that I felt was right for me. So I hope that this has helped you a little bit to think about the things that will lead up to whatever decision you make and the decisions that will come after that. And if you are prepared for everything that will lead up to that point and everything that will happen after that point, and still be confident that you're making the right choice. Thanks for listening today, and I hope you have a great day.